Hello everybody, and recently I've been shooting a wedding video, and if you haven't seen the wedding video, you can check it out right here. So I've been shooting this wedding video and I've learned a lot from the experience. So today I'd like to share a few tips on how to shoot a good wedding video. Now, first of all, you want to pick the right gear. Now, you start off by choosing your camera. So I've used my 650D, which I'm filming on right now, as my main camera. So this camera handles video nicely, so you want to make sure that the camera you picked handles video nicely. Now, after choosing your camera, you want to choose your lenses. Now, I use three particular lenses for my video shoot, and they are the 24-105, the 10-22 wide angle, and the lovely little 50mm 1.4. Whoops, cap came off. Alright, so those are the main gear you need for your shoot. You need a good camera, you need good lenses, and for me, I also used a Glidecam. A Glidecam HD 1000. It's wonderful piece of gear. It allows me to get some really nice smooth shots. So you want a sturdy tripod too. I use the EOS tripod. It's nice and sturdy. It's not the best of its kind, but it works very well. And for audio, I used this Zoom H1 field recorder, which I'm recording to right now. I used the internal mic of the Zoom H1 to record some ambient sound from the wedding ceremony itself. So after picking your gear, you want to check your gear. Now, the night before the shoot, it's very important that you make sure that everything is in nice working order. Now, you want to check your camera, you want to make sure your camera is working, and you want to check your battery. You want to make sure all your batteries are fully charged. Now, you want some spare batteries in case your battery runs out in the middle of the shoot. So if your battery does run out in the middle of the shoot, you want some nice, clean, fresh batteries to switch to instantly. If not, it's simply disastrous to have your battery run out and you have no spare. So after that, you need some nice memory cards. Now, the 650D takes SD cards, so you want plenty of them. So for my shoot, it was a 2-hour shoot, and I finished up 5 16GB SD Class 10 cards. So you want a lot of them. Now, during the shoot, you would want to record live audio. Like I said, record it with something like the Zoom H1. If you have a Zoom H4n, it will work as well. I particularly like the Zoom H1 because it's nice, it's light, it works very well. So you want to record the live audio. You also want to keep the in-camera audio. You won't be using it in the final render anyways, but then the in-camera audio is for syncing purposes. It makes your syncing process a lot more easier. Now, this is also very important. This is key to getting awesome audio for your video project. You want to record a line in straight away from the PA system. Now, by doing so, you get a very clear audio of the event itself, because you get a clear recording of whatever is said through the microphone. So if you layer that with your live audio from the Zoom H1 or whatever you're using, you get to listen to the atmosphere of the whole event, and of course you get the very clear audio from the mics themselves. Now, another very important thing is to plan your shots. Now, you need to plan what kind of shots you're going to use for that particular event. So you have to know what's going on and what's going to happen, so you can plan what lenses you want to use. After knowing what lenses you're going to use, and you're going to plan what type of shot you're going to use. Are you going to do a glide cam shot, or a handheld shot, or any over-the-shoulder shots, something like that? And very importantly, stay calm. Stay calm during the entire shoot, because if you get nervous, your hands will shake. So once you get shaky hands, you get shaky footage. So stay calm, stabilize yourself, stabilize the footage, and of course, stay alert. Now, apart from all that, you want to make sure that your camera can handle large amounts of video. Now, what happened to me was I used a 650D as my main camera and a 550D as my secondary camera. Now, the problem with the 550D was it uses a Digic 4 image processor. So it can't process the large amounts of video fast enough, so the buffer would fill up, and once the buffer fills up, your recording stops. That will suck. That sucked for me, and it was terrible. So my video went like 8 minutes and then it cut off by itself, so that was terrible. So you want to make sure your camera can handle the large amounts of video. The 650D has no issue with that because the 650D uses a Digic 5 processor. So you want to make sure your camera can handle the job. And as the wedding videographer, you must arrive early to set up. Now, you want to arrive about an hour early so you can set up your camera and you can position your tripods nicely, and you can set up your microphone, your recorder, and of course you need time to sort out the PA system so you can get a line in to record. So for me, I was already using my Zoom H1 recorder as my main field recorder there. So basically I didn't have any other device to record to from the PA. So what I did was I had to resort to using a laptop. So I dragged the line into the laptop and recorded it into the laptop. It was rather bulky, but then I had no choice. And arriving early also gives you a lot more time to balance your glide cam, because you will simply not have enough time to balance this thing mid-shoot. So make sure you arrive early and balance this perfectly and lock it in position. Now another thing is you want to use at least 2 camera angles. Now, like I said, I used the 650D as my main camera and the 550D as my secondary camera. So basically what I did was I left the 550D on the tripod on an 18-55 at 18mm so I could get like a field of view of everything. So, and I did run and gun with the 650D. So basically I have 2 sets of footages to cut to and fro in post-production. So that's very nice. And if you do not have a second camera, I highly recommend you to borrow one from someone you know. So, because you do want at least 2 camera angles. Now the next thing is to know your equipment very well. You need to know the equipment like the back of your hand. So you need to know what lenses to use during certain parts of the wedding. So for example, when I'm on the glide cam, I will always use my 10-22. The 10-22 is perfect for glide camming, if that's a word, because you generally want to use a wide angle for glide cams. And for like the wedding vows, I use the 50mm. And for scenes that involve a lot of action, I would use the 24-105. It's zoomable. That's very convenient for a wedding. So basically you want to make full use of all your equipment. Like for the glide cam, I use the glide cam for the wedding marches in and out, and for some more dynamic shots. And to make sure your shoot goes well, it's important that you know how to change lenses quickly, as quick as possible, because you simply cannot afford to lose any time changing lenses. So that could result in you missing the shot or something. So what I did to minimize time lost in lens changing is basically I took the lens, I left the hood on, I took the cap off, front and rear, and I just dumped them in the bag. So whenever I need to change lenses, I just detach my current lens and then I dump it in the bag, take out the lens that I want to change to, mount it straight on, and that's it. So it's unmount, mount, dump, go. And also I'm using a Velbond quick release on my glide cam. So you want to leave this always on the camera even when you're not using the glide cam. So the quick release plate is just stuck onto your camera, because by doing so you can just snap your camera right onto the glide cam whenever you need it, just like this. It's already on your camera, so whenever you need to use the glide cam, you just pick up the glide cam and you snap it right on and you're done. So glide cam mode, and when you're done with the glide cam, just take out the quick release with your camera on it and you're ready to go. Now another thing to note is you have to check your secondary camera regularly. That was for me the 550D, because it had this buffer issue. So you can't be too sure. You must check it regularly, like every few minutes. You want to make sure it's still recording, because you don't want your secondary camera to just stop recording and you don't even know about it. And then when you get home, you find out you have no footage from the secondary camera. That would be terrible. So make sure to check on your secondary camera regularly. And the main thing is you must get out there and shoot. You are assigned as the wedding videographer, so it's your job to get the shot. So just get out there and shoot whatever's happening. Don't be afraid, just go for it. And after the shoot, you need to check your equipment again. You want to make sure you have all your equipment with you. You don't want to leave any equipment behind. You're using multi-$1,000 cameras and lenses. You don't want to leave any single thing behind. So that's basically the workflow of a wedding video. So I hope my video has helped anyone who's going to do wedding videos in the near future. So thank you very much for watching, and if you have any comments or questions, just leave them below, and I'll see you in the next video.